the essence of trust is what this is about. The president is saying, trust me, I got your back. Now, my country's security, the lives of 8 million people are at stake here, so the issue of trust is crucial. Maybe if I were an Iranian negotiator, I wouldn't sign it either, because the Iranians have learned over the years that the longer the wait, the better the deal they get.
Well, that is former Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Oren, telling MSNBC the longer the deal takes, the better the deal becomes for Iran. After months of negotiations, Secretary of State John Kerry now says there are unanswered concerns. If there are still unanswered concerns, I should say, there will be no deal. He heads to Vienna tomorrow as the June 30th deadline rapidly approaches. For more on this, let's turn to our panel in Newsmax DC. Stephen Cobb, former general counsel to the Democratic Party of Virginia, and Skyping in from Las Vegas is Megan Barth, political commentator and founder of ReaganBaby.com. Thank you both for being with us here on Newsmax Prime.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Stephen, let's start with you. If Kerry is starting to distance himself, which you could see that happening today, could this mean the end of the deal?
Well, I think the administration's been very clear from the beginning that they have certain benchmarks that they expect to get as part of this deal, certain things that are non-negotiable. And so I think that the administration will be ready to walk away if those concessions aren't made. The question isn't whether or not it'll be finished by June 30th, because if it's not, the question then becomes, will the outline of the agreement previously be extended to allow more time to negotiate? But I think the administration has been very clear that there are certain issues that they will not back down from, and I think we can expect them to stay strong on that.
Well, you know, you look at the deadline. We've seen these deadlines come and go in the past, and you just heard from the former Israeli ambassador, Michael Oren, there. He says these deals, the longer they take, the more it favors the Iranians. Megan, what do you say?
He's absolutely right. In any negotiation, the longer it takes, it's going to benefit perhaps the opposite person on the side of the table. And the fact that we are simply sitting down with terrorists to negotiate is appalling. But President Obama promised that he would negotiate with terrorists, and that's what we're trying to do. This deal is not going to stop Iran from obtaining enough uranium for a nuclear weapon, and their whole goal is the destruction of Israel. Just 2 days ago, they were chanting "Death to America," and yet we're still sitting down with these crazed zealots. For what reason? I don't know, because they are still going to be allowed to obtain enough uranium to build a nuclear weapon or a dirty bomb.
Yeah, there are real concerns about those
safeguards.
First things
first here, there is nothing that says that the longer a negotiation takes, that it favors one party over another. That is just a falsity. Second, it's interesting enough, yesterday there was a bipartisan letter sent to the administration from former diplomats, from national security figures, including the former national security advisor to President George W. Bush, who all extensively encouraged the administration to keep up with these talks, outlined some of the areas where they hope that the administration continues to stand firm.
There are also people, including David Petraeus, Stephen, who say the deal is bad and getting worse. And guys, we'll have to leave this here because we also want to talk about this huge federal data breach that compromised personal data for millions of federal employees and job applicants. The Office of Personnel Management will now hire a cybersecurity advisor. We've heard about these piecemeal solutions a lot. Is this too little, too late, Stephen?
Well, I hope that all the different departments and agencies have an appropriate cybersecurity advisor, because they're really, we don't want to be reactionary in this. We want to be proactive and make sure that our data and our security is at the strongest levels possible. So I think the too little, too late argument, it should be put aside, and what we need to do is focus on going forward. And if that means
it's hard to focus on going forward,
more federal
Stephen.
Dollars, better hirings, then that's what we need to do.
It's hard to focus on going forward after the fact that you had this massive security breach. You don't know what these Social Security numbers and personal information is going to be used for, right, Megan?
We are being reactive. If we were being proactive, this would have never happened. This is a complete failure of the federal government to protect important data, personal, private data of federal contractors and their spouses. And so we've just basically opened up all of the books to China on all of their personal lives, their Social Security numbers, and Stephen has a problem with us talking about being proactive or reactive. No, this is just a consequence of a bureaucracy who now wants to hire an advisor, again, to try to administer security? This makes absolutely no sense. They're not getting to the core of the problem. We obviously have outdated systems. We have no security. And now with electronic medical records, we're supposed to trust the administration with our
a whole new world of concerns there with that.
And more to talk about. She talks about the fact that we need to cut spending, lower the government. Now she's talking the fact that we need to invest more money in protecting our data.
Well, we covered a lot of ground, but look,
hopefully we can agree on that point.
Spending. This is a question about how we're spending the money and where it's appropriated.
Well, there's a question. There seems to be plenty of money being spent, but maybe not being spent in the right places. Megan, Barth, Stephen Cobb, thanks so much for being with us here on Newsmax Prime. More to come. Stay tuned.